Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cat Chat. My name is David Lee Stanton, and coming up later, we have my co-host, Carole Baskin, who will be joining us. But we're starting off today with an interview with Sean Cardinale, who's the coordinator of Tigers for Tigers. So we're going to find out all about that. So welcome to the show, Sean. And Sean, I put Sean through the rigors today of trying to connect. So, are you there, Sean?
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
Thank you.
it's so funny. I have my Skype is now saying incoming call. How could you be calling me on Skype when? Hold on a second. Why is that doing that? Okay. All right. Are you there?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Although your camera froze again, but we're just gonna go with it. So tell me a little bit about Tiger. First of all, who are you, and tell me a little bit about Tigers for Tigers and what you do there.
Sure. So my name is Sean Cardinale. I'm a student here at Clemson University. I'm actually about to graduate in a few weeks, so that's quite exciting.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, it's a great experience. But I'm representing the National Tigers for Tigers Coalition. And what this is, it's a group of students from across the country, from 13 universities, working together for tiger conservation. And so what the idea is if you have student groups from different universities of tiger mascot schools, because if you notice with Clemson and a lot of other universities, there's so much pride within our mascots. If we can unify the efforts for tiger conservation in the wild, we feel as though that we can really make a difference there. So right now, like I said, we have 13 universities, and we're looking to do a lot of collaboration through policy, through education and outreach programming, and also get students involved internationally as well.
Well, whatever made you get involved with Tigers in the first place?
Well, we had a club here at Clemson University called Tigers for Tigers, and it was just something that interested me. I've always had an interest in wildlife conservation and policy, and really making a difference. And I felt like getting involved with the club here, and also finding ways for other students to get involved in things that they're passionate about, that's what sort of attracted me to the organization.
Right. Well, how do you feel about people breeding tigers? Like, I mean, what's your opinion on?
Yeah,
on such
I
a
don't
thing?
think, I mean, obviously, there's not a lot of research that defends that claim to breed tigers and also introduce them in the wild. That doesn't work. And there's obviously a huge issue here with the United States with captive breeding, because there is issues going on with interstate commerce. Also, the fact that some of these tigers in captive breeding places for private hands are going into the illegal market, whether the market's in Southeast Asia or also here in the United States as well. So we really don't agree with breeding cats.
You know, I was watching this program that was airing last night on Wild Animal Television about zoos,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the zoo owners or caretakers said, well, their zoo is located on the side of a mountain, and then he said that he believes that his animals are happy there, even the lion, because because they say that the tigers and lions just kind of adjust to any weather. And now, to me, that's like just forcing them to adjust. I mean, do you, in your working with cats, do you think can they adjust? And like, if you get them, can these big cats adjust to living arrangements?
I mean, if I think you got to sort of direct the question more towards where their historic range is. I think that those animals and those cats should remain within their historic range, whether that's tigers in Asia or lions in Africa. I mean, they are very adaptive animals, but I don't think that they need to be within areas that are not within their historic range, because it sort of eliminates the conservation value that they do have within their range.
Right. Now, what is your what is the main purpose of Tigers for Tigers? I mean, what is it that you're doing every day?
Yeah, well, the purpose is, like I said, it's to find ways for students to get involved in tiger conservation, and also to find passion for that. Because with social media, the influx that it's had over the past few years, and also unifying students together under one mission representing, there's over 57 tiger mascot schools. If we can all work together towards one cause in a unified effort, we feel as though we can make an impact and really make a difference, because there's so much passion and energy that students bring to the table that really hasn't been brought up, or our demographic hasn't been brought up for conservation efforts for tigers anyway.
Well, what kind of things have you come up with then?
Yeah.
What kind of ways have you found, so to speak?
Yeah, well, we just actually had a conference here at Clemson University to sort of develop ways with all the students. So a variety of students came here to Clemson to participate in this conference, excuse me, and we developed initiatives that we can take on. So there's a variety of things we're working on right now, and specifically that's with policy. Carol knows a little bit about this as well, obviously. It's the Big Cat and Public Safety Protection Act, and that is a bill that's being pushed in Congress to eliminate the exotic pet trade of big cats into private hands in the United States on a federal level, because there's over 6 states, and Clemson or South Carolina happens to be one of them, that there are no big
Okay.
cats, and for Wildlife Without Borders, and that's through U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
Testing 1 2. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. We just somehow lost a connection there. Um, I, hello, Sean. Okay. Hey, Sean. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Now your audio is not being piped through to the right place. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Recording devices. Hold on, let me try to fix this. I don't know what. Can you say something for me?
Hello?
Okay, playback devices. Testing 1 2 1 2 3. Darn. Something just happened here, so hold on a second. Testing 1 2. Oh. Okay, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, can you speak one more time there? Now I'm not getting any audio from you. Holy crap. Oh. Sean? Wow, I just totally lost the audio there. This is incredible. Okay, Sean. Nope, still nothing. Hey, Sean, can you call me right back again? I don't know what the heck's wrong. What? See, it's the sound's coming through. Answer call. Oh, there you are. Okay. Or there's your sound at least. So sit there and wait for his picture to come through. All right, Sean.
Yeah.
All right. Talk about technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's Windows 8 problem. Hey, Microsoft, fix Windows 8 and Skype. I hate Skype. Oh my God. I hate that program. Anyways, so we were just talking about some of the things that you have because you said that what you do is you try to find ways for your students to help tigers, really. And then you started to tell me about some of these ways. And we got up to about Carole. You said the word Carole.
Okay.
And so if you could just kind of tell me again.
Yeah,
What?
absolutely. So there's a bill right now that's placed that's going towards the Congress right now called the Big Cat and Public Safety Protection Act.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of this bill is to eliminate the ownership of exotic big cats
Right.
on the federal level, because there is issues with cats in the United States, and it's really a human welfare issue. There's over 6 states that absolutely have no regulation on the ownership of big cats.
Right.
So we're really pushing this federal bill to sort of eliminate that interstate trade and commerce, but also to reduce the demand of tiger parts going into the black market and trade as well too. So there's a variety of aspects to get involved there.
Wow. Now, what's your affiliation with Big Cat Rescue?
Well, Big Cat Rescue. Well, Carole thankfully has been able. She's came up for a conference here a few weeks ago to talk about her role as as working for Big Cat Rescue in her wildlife sanctuary down there in Florida. And so from there, we're building a wonderful connection with her, and we're super excited for it. And we're working with her to find ways that students can get involved in supporting like local wildlife sanctuaries within their areas as well too.
Have you ever met Carole?
Yes, she's a wonderful lady.
Carole's the bomb. I love her.
She's an incredible person.
I wish she was my mom. I'm serious. Have you ever met Howard?
No, I have not.
Oh, Howard is equally as like dynamic. Well, I don't know. Carole's more like an angel or something like that. But like her husband is Howard is like really really smart and like a really good guy and stuff. You're gonna love him.
That's cool.
So you've never been down to their sanctuary.
No, I haven't.
And where are you at yourself?
Right now,
Yes.
Clemson University is located in South Carolina. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't. But I grew up in upstate New York, so Pittsburgh's not that far.
Oh. Now your video looks really clear. Somehow they gave you more juice or something.
Apologize for the technical difficulties here.
That's right. Now you look so young. How may I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 22.
22.
I'm about to graduate here at Clemson in the next week, actually. Actually, tomorrow I'm graduating. So.
Are you? Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Most people here that work at our studios here are in their 20s. I love young people.
Yeah.
In the right way.
Yeah.
Well, and how long did you go to school?
4 years.
4 years. And what are you studying?
Biology, and I also have a minor in wildlife and fisheries bio too.
So what do you want to be when you grow up?
I really like what I do now. I really enjoy it, and I love finding ways for students to get involved in something that they're passionate about. And once you find that passion, you really notice that their energy and efforts are put forward. And so I'd love to do this type of work with whether it's environmental policy or wildlife conservation, and sort of stick with what I'm doing now as well too.
Right. Now, have you ever seen an abused tiger?
No, I haven't. But we have been working with another sanctuary down in Florida. It's one of our Clemson partners, and they also have been able to take care of cats as well too. But I've never seen a tiger being abused in my experience.
I used to live for a while at GW Exotic Animal Park. Do you know of that place?
No, I've never heard of it.
You haven't?
Wow.
Well, they're not very nice to their tigers there. And, I got to learn a lot of things about tigers while I was there. And sadly, I got to see abused tigers. Either they would come in or some there were kind of not really treated that well. And for myself, how I got into this business is because I cannot stand the abuse of animals at all. And I don't know, tigers just seem to hit a certain part with me. To see these majestic. I mean, you've seen tigers in real life, obviously.
Right.
They're like from God or something like that. They're like majestic. You know what I mean? Like when you're around them, you could tell you're around a special creature.
Yep.
So to see the abuse of these things is heart wrenching, and it's so funny that the people that have tigers, that are breeding them and owning them and stashing them in their basement and their living rooms and all that stuff, are all people that can't afford to take care of tigers. I mean, I don't know if you've ever noticed that or not, but it seems like everybody that abuses tigers, it all is because they can't afford to take care of them. Which it behooves me or baffles me, whatever, to wonder why anybody would even want a tiger because of the extreme care that you have to give one. You just can't put it in a cage and feed it and be like, I have a tiger now. I mean, wouldn't you agree? It's like a whole process. It's like your lifestyle. If you get a tiger, that's going to be your life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now,
I think that's one of the issues too, because people they purchase a cub, right, and they don't expect it to be a 300-pound animal, and then the cost is $5,000 to $6,000 a year just for food, and they expect it to pile up.
Now, how much Do you know how much cubs go for?
I do not.
I
But
do. They go. It depends on where. I've seen them as low as like $200.
that's what I was thinking.
And it's so funny. There's this rapper. I can't think of his name right now, and I should try to remember because I'm on this campaign kind of against him. But what this rapper did was he put on Facebook. He goes, he just bought these 2 tigers. Do you know who I'm talking about?
French Montana.
Yes.
Yeah.
That he bought 2 tigers while he was high, and these are his baby tigers, right? And then people were like, the people who are for him are writing on their things. They're saying that we, the people that are against him, are just jealous because we can't afford a baby tiger. We can't afford to buy no baby tigers, and that's why we're haters. And what I think my point is that's untrue. A welfare person can buy a tiger, especially if they're $200.
Right.
And they're probably cheaper. I bet you could probably find tigers for free.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, they treat these things like pit bulls or something. You know what I mean? Just disposable. So if you can't, you can either find it for free or $200, and it's sad. And people think that they can just get one, and it's. Now, are you doing anything to like do you guys, are you involved in any sort of activism? You know how PETA gets all into activism and stuff?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say we're necessarily like that, but what we're doing is really trying to find outreach programs too, whether that can be educational programs where we can go into, elementary schools, middle schools, and also do, programming here on each one of our universities because, sometimes, I meet students every day and they don't understand that there's only 3,200 tigers in the wild, or that, you can literally go into a flea market and purchase a tiger, so there's things that we can do on our campuses and also within our communities to sort of reach out and be that advocate for tigers.
Yeah, there's more tigers in captivity than there are in the wild. And people who have these tigers in captivity, here's their philosophy, seriously. They think that they're like preserving tigers because they'll say, well, listen, that's why I'm breeding them. There's only 3,200 in the wild. What they're not like understanding is that there's only 3,200 in the wild because of you breeding them. You know what I mean? And or not breeding them because of you taking them out of the wild. There's like none left. And I don't know. It's quite incredible. Right. Now, what do you think about zoos? Like, do you think a zoo is a good thing? Can you imagine a world without zoos?
No, I think zoos play a really very, very good role for species because they do preserve the animals through a lot of genetic diversity and training. So they do support tons of conservation efforts. And without zoos and support of the AZA, some of these species won't be viable because they do monitor, the genetic diversity of these species to ensure that they do have proper care, but also they're great educational opportunities for the public to understand, what's going on in our world that we might see on a daily basis. And I think zoos absolutely play an incredible role for conservation and tigers too, maintaining genetic diversity and populations as well.
Now, that's interesting. Now, I myself am, although I like to go to a zoo, I have to admit, I'm actually against them. Okay. I think because I understand the whole, it does teach you about animals. It does show you about how they live, how they eat, what they need, blah, blah, blah. But if you were to ask the animal, say you have say you have an Arctic fox in your zoo, and nice big cage, all the food it could eat, whatever. Do you think that Arctic fox is going to be happy still? Because an Arctic fox likes to run really, really far. And so how can, do you think that like it's a kind of a small sacrifice to pay for the overall species? I mean, granted, I'm sure if the Arctic fox could talk, he'd be like, "No, I don't want to be here." It's. I know the cage looks great. It's like a gilded cage, really. But, how do you feel about that? Do you think that, yes, it's worth the sacrifice of that? I mean, I don't want to make you seem like you're sacrificing animals, but,
right.
But I just want to know your feelings on that.
This is just my personal opinion,
Yes.
on my. I do believe that it is still worth it because there is so much opportunity with all the funding that goes into zoos, that money goes directly into conservation efforts abroad. And I don't think, you know, I don't think the animals would want to be in those cages within zoos and within exhibits. Obviously,
Right.
we want animals to be free within the wild to remain and to thrive. But with urbanization and the growth of human populations, and you know this perception of, I think one thing that we need to remove is this perception of animals being pets and animals being sort of a commodity. And I think zoos, they can help alleviate that issue through their education programs. And I think that's where they do play a prominent role in that. You know, I don't know necessarily would assume that, you know, these animals are happy to be in their cages. No, we want them to be in the wild. We want them to thrive within their ranges. But I think they do offer great opportunities for education, conservation, and maintain, like I said, maintaining the genetic diversity for those endangered species.
All right. Well, I guess you could look at it like this way. You know, it's either like, is the animal going to be? I mean, I think I don't know. You know, maybe I might change my position on zoos. I don't know, because in my head, you know, the Arctic fox would say, "I don't want to be here." However, if the Arctic fox would the Arctic fox rather be at a zoo that gives him a lot of space, food to eat, good care, good veterinarian care, or would he like to be at a place, say, like GW Exotic Animal Park, and be in a cage that's like 5 by 5 for the rest of its life? You know, so either way, it's going to be in cage. So I would think if it had to choose what cage it's going to be in, it would probably at least choose the zoo one, because the zoo one is going to try to take care of it the best it can,
Right.
opposed to just putting it in a cage and hoping to make some money off of it, you know, from viewers and stuff. So, I don't know. So I guess zoos, you know, are a mixed.
Virus database has been updated.
That's great. Now my computer will not get viruses. I don't know if you heard that. So I guess, you know, but, you know, I always try to ask people what they feel about zoos, and I find overall that it's like 50-50. Well, no, I always say it's higher than that, like 70-30. You know, more people are for zoos, and but you're definitely against. Now, do you think breeding, because to keep the zoos full, you got to breed animals, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a I want to make a point that there is a distinction between breeding within AZA accredited facilities and,
Okay.
you know, roadside zoos, because if you look at captive cats with tigers, right?
Right.
There's no way to track that genetic diversity with roadside zoos, because there are 9 subspecies of tigers, and with zoos they have a very good care of exactly, you know, should this cat mate with this cat all the way in San Diego, to ensure that the genetic viability remains the same, and that's their reason for breeding, is to maintain that genetic diversity and to maintain the most diverse, genetically viable individuals that they have within their populations. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Because I think if you know, if it should ever be possible to return tigers and all that to the wild, if anybody should be able to do it, it should be zoos. And if they do it, most likely they'll have the best stock to do that. Whereas these sideshow breeders, if they want to attempt to do it, most likely they'll just breed anything and then just go throw it in the woods
Right.
and be like, there, I just restocked the wild. You know, so I think, you know, it's, in my own opinion, like, some of these animals do have to be in captivity, but I think it has to be extremely controlled, wholesome, good captivity, not just, I mean, people should not, private ownership of these things just should be stopped across the board, because that'll stop all of this crazy breeding that goes on. I mean, I'm telling you folks, it's just terrible. And if anybody should be breeding, it should be people that can handle that can afford it, that can look at the long, you know, like they should have things like before you even breed it and you have one, you have to have a definite long-term plan, you know, like a bond or something that you have to buy so that you know that it's going to be paid for, you know, like 5 years down the road, you can't run out of money, you know, I think stuff like that needs to be done, but definitely get it out of the hands of these private breeders for sure, you know. But is there anything else you want to tell us about your fabulous organization?
Sure. Yeah. We're very excited to be moving forward. I think we're super excited and thrilled to see what's going to happen. Right now, we're looking to expand out to more schools and to find ways for our students to get involved. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for us, and we're super excited to move forward. And if people like to check us out online, our website is T4T, and that's number 4T, coalition.org, and we also have our Facebook page and Twitter accounts too. So if you'd love to check us out there, we'd be happy to introduce you to what we're doing. And like I said, we're looking forward to it. Couldn't be more cool. So it's been great experience.
Now, did you say that's T4T.org?
T4T coalition.org.
Oh, coalition. Okay, and that's like the number 4, right?
The number 4, correct.
It's so funny. I love everything Tiger. I even use software for my sales team called VTiger. Now, do you go to any school, like across the country? Like, can a Pittsburgh school call you?
Well, right now we're only focusing on Tiger mascot schools.
Okay.
Tiger mascot schools, just because there's, like with Clemson University and the football team, our fans are ecstatic about football, and there's so much pride of Tiger mascot schools, and we want to transfer that energy into conservation efforts. So right now we're only focused on Tiger mascot schools, but that's not saying that we're not in the future not going to look more towards other schools as well too.
So when you say Tiger mascot school, that just means that they just have to have a tiger for their mascot, right?
Right.
So if now we have Panthers don't count, right?
No, yeah.
Okay. So if there is a school in Pittsburgh that has a tiger mascot, you would come to that school if they requested it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So and if any schools watching or principals, actually I know a principal. It's so funny. My sister is a principal of 2 schools. Maybe just contact her, but I don't think they have tiger mascots. So anyways, if you're a school and you're watching and you have a tiger mascot, go ahead and contact T4TCoalition.org, and they'll get some. They'll set up I guess, what do you call it?
Group. We'll set
a group. I don't want to call it a conference, but you'll set something up for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a phone number or anything?
Yes, I do. It is 607
Okay.
280 4331.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you say that just one more time?
Yep, 607 280
Okay.
4331.
Okay. I'm going to put this on the screen real fast. And, okay, let's see here. Okay, so T4T call. And I'll put this on the screen for you folks in case you want to call. And, well, Sean, before I let you go, I'll give you one more chance. Is there anything else that you want to say?
Sure. I think one of the things that we do really need to do for tiger conservation is to become more aware of the issue. There are only 3,200 tigers remaining in the wild due to poaching. Poaching is one of the biggest concerns, promoting the illegal trade, also habitat deforestation as well too for tigers in the wild. And I think we as citizens of the United States, we need to be aware of these issues because they're occurring in our backyards with tigers here in the United States in captive breeding and roadside zoos, and we need to eliminate this idea of tigers as pets because they're really not. They're wild animals, and you can say they're tame, or you can say that, oh, I grew up with this animal or an individual from birth, but they're still wild animals, and we need to reevaluate our perception of wildlife because there is such. They are wild, and we need to appreciate their value within their range. So what some of the things you can do to support tigers is also to support your zoos, wildlife sanctuaries within your area, also supporting initiatives that do support conservation efforts abroad. There's a lot of organizations that are currently working together to promote tiger conservation, and I just want people to be more aware of the issue and to educate yourself about really what's going on within our backyards with tigers, but also being aware of what we can do to help tigers internationally to make sure that they don't go extinct, because that would be a tragedy.
Right. Well, in the future we're going to do a follow-up with you. Just see how things are going. And like I said, eventually you're going to get down to Big Cat Rescue, right? At some point in your life? Because you won't regret it, even if you have to make a special trip.
Right.
All right, Sean. Well, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure talking to you. And like I said, we'll do a follow-up follow-up interview with you again. And folks, if you want to contact Tigers for Tigers, go to tigersfortigerscoalition.org, or you can call them at 607-280-4331. Now remember, schools, you have to have a tiger mascot at this point for them to come to your school. So get one.
Right.
Call them, say, yeah, sure, we got a tiger mascot. And then when they come, just say, oh, well, we changed it last minute. All right. And, well, thanks for joining us,
Thank you,
Sean.
David.
And you can catch this show if you want to watch it. You can go to wildanimaltelevision.com, and it'll be within the broadcast. But I'll have Carole send you a link, because we also do our on-demand videos via Vimeo.
Okay.
So I'll have Carole send you a link to the show so you can watch it and how great you were.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you, Sean. You have a good day.
Well, thank you, David.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, everybody, wasn't that very nice? Now, let's go ahead and get my good friend, my co-host, the lady with everything. I love her. So, Carole, go ahead and call us if you are watching. Let me see if I can call her. Hi, Carole. Please call me. Please call now. Now, Carole, for you all who don't know, Carole is the owner. Her and her husband, Howard, they own and run Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida, which is a large animal tiger sanctuary for big cats. Let me call her on the phone to rustle her up. Let's rustle up some Carole. She's probably like on a tiger mission of some sort. And we got some photos that Carole brought with her that we'll go ahead and show you here. You see one of them right now. But I'll be honest, that doesn't look like her cage. Hey, Carole, if you want to go ahead and call me on Facebook now, I'm ready for you. Oh, yeah, it's not going to that broadcast right now. I'll be doing the record because it's messing up for some reason. So, but it will be in there right after because I'm recording it. So, anyways, yeah, can you call me on Facebook right now? On Facebook. Yes, that way I can see your image. Because remember, the image thing isn't working with Skype. Or here, I can actually call you. Well, I think it's easier for you to call me. Oh, okay. And I'll tell you how to get to that camera thing. Without. Okay. So go ahead and just, like, on your left-hand side, click on me, like, in your message area. And then over to the right, there's these things called actions. Like a pull down. Oh, there we go. Answer. You figured it out. I love how smart you are. I do. I wish you lived by me. Like we would hang out every single day. I swear.
So can you hear me on there?
Yeah, I can hear you, and you look good. Beautiful. And we're in action. You're on air. Okay, I'm gonna hang up the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Carole Baskin. Can you hear me? Oh, darn. Oh, hello, Carole? Carole Baskin.
Okay, now I hear you.
Oh, okay, there you go. Wow, today it's just been a day full of technical wonders. Okay, everybody who is on the screen right now, this is Carole Baskin. Carole is actually she's like the host and I'm more of the co-host really. But she is the owner of Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida, which is a absolutely fabulous big cat sanctuary. So, Carole, I'm sure we have some new viewers today. So can you just give people just kind of a quick thing about your sanctuary? You know how like how you have a canned. I'm sure you have a canned answer. I don't know. So if I said, hey, my name's David Stanton, you run Big Cat Rescue. What's that? So can you tell me what that is?
Big Cat Rescue is the world's largest accredited sanctuary that's dedicated entirely to exotic cats. We have 105 exotic cats here. We have 5 animals who are not cats, but we really feel like cats are all that we could really know enough about to provide the best possible care for them. So we rescue cats, we give them a permanent home, and we just recently, just this past weekend, did a really dramatic rescue in Kansas.
Oh, is that okay? Is that the pictures you sent me?
Yes, all those
Okay.
photos and the video that I sent you, you will not believe how horrible the conditions were where these poor cats were living.
Okay, let me try to get this video real fast.
The video that I sent you is all going to be when they arrived. So to see the actual facility, you're going to need to pull up the one that is the photo file that I sent via WeTransfer.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go through the photos first. Do you see the photo on the screen there?
I don't.
Go ahead and check out. Okay, I'll just tell you what they. Because what I'll need you to do is, are you able to open up GayLifeTelevision.com in a separate window
Sure.
and just mute it and go to the broadcast or whatever? Because the thing is, I have the pictures on the screen, so we're gonna go through them, and then you could just kind of talk about them. And the pictures.
So is this airing live on Gay Life Television and not on Wild Animal Television?
Right, because I'm having a problem with the Wild Animal Television server doing this broadcast at the same time.
So should I send the people who are over on Facebook looking for this to the Gay Life Television site?
Well, let me try something real fast, and if it, we're you know what, we're gonna try it. We're gonna get it on there. If there's a problem, then we'll just stop it on there. How's that? So if they're just watching, tell them to just hang tight. I'm gonna fix that all. David's gonna fix everything. Like when I was doing it earlier, it was like being all pixelated. Stream 2. Okay. Here we go. Let's give it a try. No, it didn't. Oh no, there we are. Okay, yeah, we're there. So tell them no. Just stay right on.
On Wild Animal Television
Yeah.
or Gay Life Television?
Stay on Wild Animal Television. We're on there right now.
Oh, good. Well, let me let everybody know that we actually are
Yes.
live now because they've been sitting there saying, "Where are you?"
Yes, it's my fault. Sorry. Wild Animal
No, that's having to learn all this new stuff.
Well, yeah, and getting into this new studio, like I said, we have all new computers too, and then and I'm trying to do the cat chat thing from my office. And so this is the first time from there. So next week's broadcast will be even worse. No, next week's broadcast will be even better. But yeah, so if you want to go ahead and go to wildanimaltelevision.com, let me know when you're there, and then
I'm there.
Okay, and do you see the picture below you?
Yes.
Okay.
This was a picture of the tiger. There were 9 cats at this facility in Atchison, Kansas. And there were 1 tiger, 2 cougars, 3 bobcats, 2 Canada lynx, and a serval. And this guy had owned these cats from back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. He owned a place called Kansas Kitty. And what they did was they bred mostly hybrids for like Bengal cat hybrids
get
and
that?
Savannah cat hybrids. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was talking to my partner. Oh, no, that they were. Just say that last sentence again. They were I got
They
to.
were hybrid breeders, so they were
Oh,
breeding Bengal cat hybrids and Savannah cat hybrids and selling them. But they also had a whole yard full of tigers and cougars and bobcats and serpals. And one of the cats that we rescued is a really strange looking mix. He's obviously part bobcat, but the other part looks like maybe caracal because he's kind of a bright orange and has very, very faded spots and really different looking cat. But at any rate, the guy apparently, I talked to the sheriff there, and he said that the guy had fallen on hard times a couple of years ago, and things just started going to heck in a handbasket. And so the person who owned the property was the man's son-in-law, and he called the sheriff and said, nobody's taking care of these animals, they're not getting fed or watered. And so the sheriff contacted the Kansas City Zoo, who started coming out and sending food, and then they contacted the Humane Society of the United States and the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, who contacted us and said, if we can seize these cats, where can they go? And that's tough because there's 9 cats that they had to find a home for. So we said that we could take the smaller cats, but we couldn't take the tiger or the cougars. And so Instinct Exotics ended up taking the cougars, and the Humane Society of the United States has a facility down in Texas called Black Beauty Ranch. And so they took the tiger that you're seeing in this picture here. And that cage was so scary. It was just made out of flimsy chain link. It was held together with hose pipe.
what?
Hose, when you repair a hose, that little circular thing that you put on to repair a hose, that's what was holding the cage together. And the tiger in the corner on the left-hand side of the screen up high there, there's a huge bow that you can't see, but the tiger could stick his whole head out through that bow. And as soon as our rescue team got on the scene, my daughter is our president, she went straight to that spot and started taking wire and trying to sew it all up so the cat couldn't get out while they were trying to catch everybody else.
Oh my. Let's see if it's is it under that on air sign? Let me take that off. That's amazing. Okay, we're gonna go to the next picture. So what I'll do is, just go to the pictures and you can narrate them. Okay, let's see a minute. No, wait a minute. Okay.
And I think there may be a delay because I'm seeing me still talking and waving my hands around.
Yeah, you probably will. So, hold on a second. Why is that not changing?
Well, while you're trying to figure that out, when my daughter started sending me these pictures, she was texting the pictures to me while she and her husband, who's a veterinarian, and our operations manager, and one of our senior keepers. So we sent 4 people up there to help. And I said, man, that's awful that you're having to track around in the mud. And she said, Mom, that's not mud. That was all crap. It was feces. And it was so wet and icky that when the tiger was walking around and they took video of it, you could hear that sucking sound as the tiger was
that poop suck sound. I know what you mean. Like when you walk through a barn of cows, like dairy cows, they shit everywhere, and you get that poop suck sound. Okay, now who do we see in here? It looks like a person sleeping.
That would be Jamie. Oh. They would take turns in the back of the truck. We took that truck that we won on Facebook. All those wonderful people helped us on Facebook win that truck from Toyota. And so it got to make a long-term or a long trip. And so she's in the back sleeping on a mattress, and they would take turns shifting between who was sleeping and who was driving because they left Friday night and they drove straight through. That was I think she said it was like 24 hours of driving straight through to get there.
Wow. Okay, so what do we have here? It looks like parts of that cage. Like, it looks like hay and poop mixed together.
I'm still waiting for the picture to come up. I think there's a delay on my end.
Yeah, I'll just go through a few of them. Right now, it looks like they're putting it... How do you... Like, if you could gauge the rescue on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
This was the most, in fact, we said it in the headline of our blog post, it was the most daring rescue ever. And the reason was because the conditions there were so dangerous and so vile And also because the owner was said to be not quite stable. In fact, he showed up in the middle of all of this and accosted the police and had a meth pipe on him. And it's like, who goes to attack the police with a meth pipe in their pocket? How stupid do you have to be?
Who does it? I'll tell you who does it. People who own tigers. Oh, nasty. I mean, those. I'm telling you. I don't mean to sound mean for people that own exotic animals. Okay, but I found that the majority of them are crazy. Like all those private breeders and stuff like that. I'm not really sure if I've ever met a normal one of them all. Like it seems like the normal people are the ones, normal people don't breed tigers. I'm sorry, because they know better. They just know better,
Right.
And it must be daunting to you because every rescue, like granted it's a rescue, but that means that's like sending you a bill. When you go do a rescue. That's like, all right, now I got another $10,000 a year bill. Or, well, I don't know, your cat's probably $20,000 a year. You know what I mean? So how do you handle that? Because I know a lot of your, is your park ran a lot through, I don't want to call it a park because that's not what it is.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, is your sanctuary cost, the operation cost, is that mostly obtained through donations, stuff like that?
Yes, it cost about $1.5 to $1.7 million a year to operate the sanctuary. And about a third of that comes from people who come out for tours. Another third comes from people who make donations. And the other third comes from our gift shop and our online gift shop sales. But it's always a challenge. And rescues bring in money, but they only bring in, we've been doing this for 20 years. They only bring in enough money for the animal to arrive safely at the sanctuary and maybe sometimes to even build a cage. But they never cover the cost of that animal going forward because people are, they get high on the whole idea of rescuing an animal. They love that.
Right.
And we're glad that they love that because we need that help.
Right.
But as soon as that animal's rescued, then they're saying, well, look at this other place. This is awful over here. Go rescue this animal. It's like, well, I have 105 big cats here that I have to make sure we can feed first before we can rescue somebody else. This was a particularly tough one because we weren't allowed to tell anybody about it in advance. So there was no ability to appeal to our donors before the rescue because they didn't want to tip this guy off and have him go nuts out there and shoot all the animals or turn them loose. Nobody wanted another Zanesville.
Terry.
So we had to, we couldn't say anything until we actually had the cats off the property and were on the road with them.
Now, we're looking at a picture here of what looks to be a bobcat. So what animals was that animal on his property as well?
Yes, we've rescued 3 bobcats. One of them, like I said, is not quite a bobcat. He's like a cross between a bobcat and a Carole, maybe.
Right.
2 Canada lynx and 1 serval. And one of the kind of precious things about this rescue is that the animals all had names from Gilligan's Island. So the serval, the long leggy one, was Ginger. And the bobcats were Marianne and Mr. Howell and Lovey, and the 2 Canada lynx were Skipper and Gilligan. And so when they came to the sanctuary, we had to put them all in a quarantine area. It's nice. It's got grass and leaves and trees and bushes, just like all of our other cages, but it's treated differently because we only use a certain number of tools to take care of that area so that we're not spreading contamination from those cages to other cages. So we've created like this little island of cats that are all from this one rescue since there's 6 of them. And then everybody started calling it Gilligan's Island.
I don't, if anybody's ever had the opportunity to go to Big Cat Rescue Sanctuary and check their tigers out, you'll be amazed like me. Carole, I've seen in all the videos I show, all the research I do, all the sanctuaries I've seen, I have never yet have found one as good as yours. I just haven't. And and I'm not saying that to be nice. I'm just, because me, I'd be like, I would tell you the truth. And it's just, I'm serious. When I look at, how your animals are kept and like they get to touch the earth, you know what I mean? They don't have this whole, I would live in one of your cages. I'm just telling you. So if you people, if you ever get the chance, seriously go down there, and they could certainly use your help, just by going there, just by you visiting the sanctuary is going to help them, You'll call me later and be like, David, thanks you. That was like one of the best things I ever did. Now we're looking at a picture here. It looks like that it's that Toyota truck and the trailer. So
Yes.
I guess they're getting ready to leave at that point, right?
Yes, it took them. They drove up Friday night and they arrived there 24 hours later. They slept for a few hours and then they got up Sunday morning like 6 a.m. Headed out to the rescue site. They loaded cats from I think 8 or 9 a.m. until like 5 p.m. just to get all the cats loaded. And then they had to hop in the cars and drive straight another 24 hours to get back to Tampa. So they were awake for like 44 hours, I think, by the time this whole ordeal was done. And if you look at these cages,
Right.
they were roughly, most of the cats were living in cages that were roughly 4 feet wide by 8 feet long by 6 feet tall.
Lord.
So you can see when the people are inside the cages how cramped they were. And we were trying to capture the cats without sedating them. And so if you're trying to net the cat and scoop them up into the carrier, your net would hit and get stuck in the roof or get stuck in the walls. And so
Right.
they really had a challenge trying to even catch them in such a tight situation.
Now you didn't have to like leave any animals there, did you? Like, did any,
No,
like he
the
didn't have
only
like,
ones that were,
yeah. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It just gave out there for a second. So what was left there?
the only animals who were left behind were the dead ones. And there was a picture that
What?
you'll see there. There was a huge pit. And when animals would die, he'd just haul them out of the cage and throw them onto the pit.
You're kidding me,
so-
right?
No, the son-in-law said there were 4 or 5 servals in the pit. We have a picture of one of them. There was a leopard in the pit. There was a pelican, and strangely enough, the law enforcement said he'll probably get in more trouble over that pelican than all of the cats who died there because the pelican is such a protected migratory bird that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service may get involved. He ended up getting 10 citations against him, but they're just misdemeanors for animal abuse because there just aren't very many good laws in Kansas for protecting animals.
Now, what's the person's name? What's his name?
We're not allowed to say that yet.
Is his company Graham Trailer
No.
Repair? Oh, okay.
No, those people are wonderful. What they
Okay.
did was our brakes locked up on us in Atlanta, and the truck was burning the tire off. I don't know if you've seen the picture yet. Where it was
Yeah,
getting
let's
the
go
rubber
back
off.
to that. Yeah, I was wondering what
so-
that tire picture was for.
Graham, we called like 8 different people, and Graham was the only one that could help us. And they drove an hour to go get the parts for us. So they were wonderful.
Did they charge you?
They did, but they
Oh.
only charged us for the part.
Oh, well, that's good. So if you're ever in, what's the...
Conway, Georgia.
Yeah, on your way, Georgia, and your tire has a problem, or your trailer, call Graham Trailer Repair at 678-414-4591, or call them and let them know that you are very happy that they helped out Big Cat Rescue. Because I know I am. Okay, so let's go to
You
the
know,
next
it's so
picture.
funny. Somebody on Facebook actually contacted me and said, I just saw your van was pulled off to the side of the road. Are you guys okay? It's like, wow, that's so cool that there's Facebook fans all around the world that would see us the minute we break down.
What's that? Just hang up the phone? Unplug it. Is it? I'm sorry, we're just having fun. Is it anybody talking? Just, yeah. Our phone's ringing. He's like, and it's not hanging up. That's funny.
Oh, no.
Okay, now we're looking at, that looks like a round, is this at your facility? A round cage there? Are any of these?
Yes, if it's a
okay.
round cage, it's going to be
I was
the-
going to say, it looks like your facility there a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
a bunch of pictures of like before and after. So the rescue
Okay.
photos are the ones you've just seen, and then we have a lot of where those cats are now living, and they are loving their new space. When
Are
they got
they?
out and started walking around, it was like, "Are you sure I'm allowed to be out here? This is like, I'm walking away now."
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to get, okay, I think, is this that pit picture? Yeah, that is.
If you look closely at the pit, you'll see the serval that's like draped over
Just
the wood.
thrown there like a piece of garbage. Not like a stuffed animal that had a big old tear in it, and they threw it outside. Did you ever go to a dumpster and you see all the stuffed animals? That's what it looks like right there. That is a disgrace to such a great animal. Seriously, you should be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Whatever your name is.
We actually contacted the sheriff's office and asked if it would be okay if I hire somebody to cover the pit over and give these cats a decent burial. And I heard at our staff meeting today that the son-in-law who owns the property there, the one that turned his father-in-law in, that he's actually covering the cats over. He just didn't want to do it until law enforcement saw it, so that, if they needed that as evidence.
Well, how honorable that he, if he's a son-in-law, you know what I mean? Because he knew if he was going to report his father-in-law that's going to cause some family
There's some
problems.
family trouble.
You know what I mean? So he's willing. Hey, that's great. I would love to interview him. Actually, somebody who was willing to sacrifice. Maybe his family sucks or something, but is willing to sacrifice his family ties or whatever. Or else, unless the rest of the family probably knew it too. But you did the right thing, sir. And we're very happy about that. So let's go to the next picture.
Yeah, there's only 13,000 people in this little town, so probably everybody knew. And one of the pictures that you could see there was a road, and then right to the right-hand side in the picture are all of those cages. So people are like driving by all the time and seeing this happening and not saying anything about it. There was only about a 2.5 or 3 foot high wire, like 3 strands of wire around the outside of the property. So anybody could walk over there. Kids were riding their ATV machines all around the cats.
Which is very disturbing to cats. To be riding anything loud like that, is not. Lord, oh, thank God they got rescued. I mean,
Yeah.
Now, and since when does a child's picnic table make good enrichment for a lynx?
Yes, that was a Canada lynx, but the poor cat, that was the only place he could sit in the whole cage so he wasn't sitting on poop.
Oh my gosh! And look, even it's smeared with poop, like you put peanut butter on it with a knife. That's poop. That's a shame.
I'm never going to look at peanut butter the same way, David. Thanks a lot.
Chunky. Okay, now we're looking at some more. You're like, and that's my favorite. More of these cages. You know what these cages look like? I don't mean to keep bringing it up because they look like GW Animal Park. The way they're all like square and just in rows.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
I talked to the press a lot because it made national news and the media has been out here solid for the last 2 days, which is great because it's getting the message out there. But what I've been telling them all is this isn't very different from what we see all the time. Most of the people that have cats in their backyards, this is what they end up looking like.
I know. This is common. This is old school. This guy ain't doing anything different. He isn't like, abusing them any different than everybody else that abuses them. And I can guarantee you, I don't really know a private breeder that is not neglecting their cat in some sort of way. Do you? I mean, do you?
Well, even, I feel that way about our own cages. These cages these cats were in were about 30 square feet. The cages we just put them in are 1,200 square feet.
Oh my gosh. That's as big.
Yeah.
Lord. That's a lot of square footage.
It's nowhere near what they should have. A bobcat should have 5 square miles of territory. Tigers should have hundreds of square miles of territory. So there's no way you can keep a cat in a cage and do it right.
Right. That's one thing I like about you, because even though you're giving your animals the best care possible that a human can give to a tiger, you still think that that's just not even enough. And the only thing is, you can't return them to the wild, so you have to take care of them. But you're so I don't want to say humble, but you see, I mean, you're like me. I mean, you're like me. And the whole Arctic fox. Did you hear my Arctic fox thing comparison? No. Oh, you have to watch earlier where I was saying, for zoos, granted, if you put an Arctic fox in a great zoo, has a great big cage, food, veterinarian care. And if that Arctic fox could talk, and you asked it, would you rather be here or in the tundra? It would say, I'd rather be in the tundra. Even though you've given me this beautiful gilded cage, I'd still rather, I like to run for miles, not, 1,000 feet or whatever. So,
if you open the door, the cat or the animal will tell you for sure which they prefer.
or unless that they've been in captivity for so long. I've seen animals where you do open the cage and they don't leave because they don't know anything else. They just don't. They don't even know that they didn't even know it's possible that you get when you open the door to let them out. They don't even know that that's how you get out. You know what I mean?
That's sad.
They're like, well, what does that do? They don't even try to go out. I mean, it is sad. All right, so
Some of the pictures that I showed here were things like the latches on the cages, and we were looking at that and thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, the cat only had to just flip it up and they would have been able to get out, and yet because they don't know how to work a door or know that that means freedom to them, they're stuck in there until they were dying.
So the only thing look at that little face. Oh, I'm so glad that you're getting taken care of. Getting taken.
They just all look so sad, don't
I
they?
know. Look at that little face. I bet you. Yeah, they've got to be ecstatic. Going to your place is probably like being set free. To them. I mean,
for them, yes.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh my God. I bet you they were dirty and everything.
Well, the rescue team had taken carriers that were way bigger than what we needed to because they knew the cats were going to be in there for a full day, and they loaded it up with fresh hay. And so the cats had some time to groom themselves and get themselves all nice and clean before they came out on this end. And
really?
What was interesting, when we first released them here, I think two came out, and the other four just stayed in their carrier. They're like, you know what, this is fine. This is nice and clean. I'm good with this.
Yeah, I can imagine. Look, more of those square-ass cages. I hate cages like that. I do. I just hate them. Look at that. God dang it. That just pisses me off. Sorry, folks. But seeing that tiger like that pisses me off. How could you put a tiger like that in a tarp on top and stuff? Are you kidding me? That man, I can't believe. And all he got was like some citations?
Yeah. There was a funny moment, though. They had to sedate the tiger to get him out of the cage. And so they pulled the tiger out, and they're doing this big exam and doing microchips and vaccines and everything while he's laying out in the open. Well, this guy has cows, and so here comes this bull, and he's just snorting steam, and he's got all these cows behind him, and they're running up on, the cat there that's on the table, and everybody's, it's probably because they thought, oh, wow, it's food. But all of our people from Florida, I mean, we never see cows. We're like, oh, no, it's cows. And the sheriff's like, cows. You just go like that, and they go back.
No, we're looking here at an animal is that a dead goat or something?
There was a dead llama in one of the pictures.
A dead llama?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I think there might have been a dead goat in one of those pictures, too. There's the llama.
I can't even. That's just. And they're just throwing it like that. Not burying it, not just throwing it. Just look at that old tub. Big old bathtub, right by a square cage. Oh,
and I'll bet if you talk to this guy, he'd tell you how much he loves his animals. They just carry on about how much they love them and how much the animals love them. Because the animals come over when they're hungry.
They all think that. That they're doing the animals some sort of wonderful justice. Or else they think that, my animals love me. You're right. No, your animal, you know what your animal's doing while they're loving up on you? They're waiting for the right moment to eat you. They're not loving up on you. They're getting close to you to freaking eat you. Tigers don't feel the same kind of love that we do. I mean, they believe me, they don't love you. Guaranteed. Okay, now we're looking at the second set of pictures here. Let's see what these are. These look like they're from your facility. Well, some of them do. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's see what this is.
Yes, so that's Mary Ann's cage, and you can see her den all the way down at the end there.
Okay. Yeah, I could tell that these are. You know how I could tell these are your cages? Because
they're not 4 feet wide.
Yeah, and there's earth under them. There's earth under the cat's paws. Yeah. What did that guy have under that poop? What was under there? Was it just the ground, or was it cement?
I'm guessing that it was just the ground because I didn't see any evidence of footers or concrete anywhere out there.
Now, is that like what's the who is he governed by? USDA?
He had a USDA license, and they came out 2 years in a row, and there was nobody there to let them in, and so they just said there was no. How do they put that? No responsible adult on property. And so they go away and they don't come back for another year, and they come back another year And there's nobody there, so they say no responsible adult on the property. And so the next year they revoked his license, or else he let it expire. I don't know which, but he hasn't had a license since 2011. The problem
What?
is if USDA takes away your license, people just continue to operate, and then they have nobody unless there's a state agency looking over their shoulder. So you would think that if USDA takes away your license because conditions are so bad, that they would then make sure the animals are taken care of, but they don't. That's just not part of what they do.
So if you want, if you want to just like get out of all that stuff, all you have to do is just not answer your door.
Right. And people do that all the time. We've
And-
started putting all of the reports on all of these places, and you'll see just citation after citation after citation of that same one, no responsible adult here. Well, you know they were there, they just weren't answering the door.
And then here's another thing: if you get a citation from the USDA, that means you're about as good as shit in a way, because the USDA has such extremely low standards. Like when it comes to like you can hold a like a chicken in like just a little crate, and that's how that like it can live that way forever. What all the animals, all they have to do, their cage just has to be big enough for them to stand up and turn around. That's
And
it.
all of these cages were bigger than that.
So he exceeded the USDA standards in cage design,
Right.
which
As
is
scary as that is.
oh my gosh. And up here we see a picture that says from this to this. Now
Yeah.
on the left there, what's on top of that carrier? Is that looks like
That's poop.
seaweed? That's poop.
That's all poop. And if you look at it, it's like all full of hay.
Is
So
that-
it
yeah.
looks like that cat was starving to death and eating the hay off the ground, which is all covered in poop too.
That's what I said. It
So-
looks like seaweed because it's in columns. Like so, that's actually hay, poop with hay in it.
Yes.
Oh, that's just. And then he went to a place where there's grass. I bet you.
And
Didn't,
boy, they are eating grass like crazy. They're just like, oh, this is so wonderful.
that's because they need the mineral in it, and their body was actually like, I can't believe I'm finally around this mineral that I've needed my entire life. Oh my gosh! All right, let's get to the next picture. Now here we see, is that inside of a carrier, right?
It hasn't come up for me yet.
Yeah, because you're watching the Did it get clearer for you, the broadcast?
Yes, it looks very clear.
Oh, good. All right, so well, it looks like we're looking at one of the cats in a carrier. Like, so.
What we did was we took photographs of the cats when we first loaded them into the trailer, and then as they made stops, they had to stop every 3 hours for gas because, oh, there we go. If it's the one with the little broken ear, that's
Yeah.
Mr. Howell, and he's the one that we think is like a bobcat caracal hybrid because of his coloration.
Oh,
And since this guy was into breeding hybrids, you can imagine that he was trying to breed every stupid cross he could think of.
yeah, and then that also means of how many didn't make it during his breeding regiment. I mean, how many? I just think of all the deaths that occurred without that nobody even knows about. You know what I mean?
And all because people will pay for a hybrid. They'll pay for a
I
Bengal
know.
cat or Savannah cat.
Hey, when I was at that place, I know that you're not at freedom to really talk about the place, but hell, I am. At GW Exotic Animal Park, that's what they were doing. They were trying to get a serval, or a Bengal cat, and they were trying to mate it with a domestic cat, so that they could sell that diversion of domestic and Bengal mixed together, because there's like a demand for that.
Unfortunately, there is.
I know.
And, people will say, well, it's legal. Well, that doesn't make it
That
right.
doesn't mean it's legal. Yeah, exactly. Alcohol's legal. That doesn't mean that you should be a big old drunk, even though people are, Just because something's legal doesn't mean anything. That just means that there's not a law, yet for it, or I don't know what it means. It doesn't make it right. All right, let's go to the next picture. I'm all pissed off. I just hate to see tiger abuse. It hits or animal cat abuse just hits a certain thing in me. All right, this looks like your cage, because I see grass. Okay, so these
That
are
would
just
be us.
yeah. So these are just some look servo in the grass there. Okay. All right, that looks like yours. Yeah, these are Carole Baskin places. See how clean everything is? I love it. Oh, grass, ferns. Oh, Carole has these cool like within the enclosure, some of them, like, there's these things, they look like rocks, but or caves or something, but they're man-made things that they've made for these cats, and they're beautiful.
If you think about those caves are 8 feet by 12 feet inside. Those caves are bigger than the whole cages
Right.
that these cats were living in.
Right. And they get to be in that cage, and they get to go outside in all this grass and finally be a cat. That's great. I'm so happy for them. Look, and see everybody, see that picture right there. That's what it looks like inside of our cages. You don't even, if you're inside of there, that's what it feels like you're in the middle of a Florida jungle. It's great.
And the cats have all been just really enjoying all of the wildlife there. But Serval has already caught a lizard, and she brought it to us and put it on her food plate. Like, I'll trade you this for something else.
And what I like about, somehow, like, when I don't know if it's the way it's positioned or something like that, because it's actually quiet within your sanctuary as well.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because we just started something new yesterday that I'm so excited about. It's a Vox system. So when we do tours, we send them out 25 people at a time, and there's a tour guide and then somebody who backs up the tour.
Right.
And so the tour guide has to be able to project their voice enough so that 25 people can hear all the way in the back. And so it's kind of loud. And if you get like 5 of those tour groups out there, they're all trying to yell so that their people can hear. So what this thing is they talk into a little transmitter. It's about the size of a cell phone that hangs around their neck. And then everybody on the tour has another little receiver that, again, is about the size of a cell phone hanging on a lanyard around their neck, and earphone. And so the person giving the tour can just talk in a regular conversational tone into the speaker, and everybody can hear it in their own ears, and they can turn the volume up or down depending on what they want. So yesterday, we had 3 tours out there, and I went walking around to see how is this different from the other tours, and it was wonderful. It was so quiet out there.
That's the bomb. Wow.
What I wasn't expecting is the cats liked it better, because sometimes when a tour group comes up, the cats will come out, they'll say hello, and then they just walk away. Well, now, because it's so much quieter, the cats are just hanging out with the people, and the people love that.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a huge, huge benefit for us.
That's awesome. Now, for maybe some of the other people that are good in the world and maybe also have a sanctuary, what's the name of that product that you do that with?
It's made by Vox, Vox, and I think it's Vox.net. But if you Google Vox tour system or something like that, I'm sure you'll find it. Or if you can't find it, feel free to email me at cat@bigcatrescue.org, and I'll send you the direct link. And the cost on it I bought 75 units, so that'll send 3 tours out at a time. And I bought 3 transmitters, so one tour guide on each one of those 3 tours has a transmitter. And then I bought like 500 of those disposable earbuds, so that we can just toss them. People don't have to clean them or worry about whether or not we cleaned them well enough.
Exactly.
And that whole thing came to like $4,400. And I'm probably going to buy that many more again for our winter crowds, because we have a lot more people in the winter. But I think that was a really good investment, given the amount of benefit that people are going to see from being able to hear. Everybody on the tour can hear no matter where you're standing. The cats are all going to like it because it's quieter. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I've been scrolling through the pictures here for some of you watching. If you're wondering what these pictures are, these are pictures of inside Big Cat Rescue Sanctuary. And it looks like a lot of them are from within the cage, which is a rare. You don't get to go in no cages at Big Cat Rescue. So it's a rare thing to see from inside out. And just nice. Caves, grass, palms. Jungle gyms. No poop everywhere. I'm actually surprised how poopless, because your method of cleaning is the most difficult way to clean poop. You guys picked the hardest way to do it. So, well, the hardest and the safest. But I'm surprised at how clean it is, being how difficult it is to remove poop from your cages. Look at
You know,
just
when
beautiful.
our USDA inspector, the first time they came out, they were like, "Where are all the flies? All the places that have animals have flies. You
I
guys don't
know.
have flies." I'm like, "We don't have
That's right.
flies because we don't have poop everywhere."
Right. Or trash or dead carcasses and I bet you the flies over there at that place where you went and rescued stuff had to have been horrendous.
It was only 37 degrees, so I don't think they saw
Oh,
many flies. But think about that. Here those cats are out there with virtually no shelter except for those little flimsy dog loos, and they're out in freezing weather in Kansas.
oh my gosh. And well, just like what I was saying earlier to Sean, some people that have animals, oh look at that one, are under the belief that that these animals could just adapt to any kind of weather or whatever, because just because they sit outside when it's cold that they must like the cold. No, that they probably sitting outside in the cold because their cage probably got frozen piss in it or something. I mean, come on. So now we're looking at here, is this broken ear or something? Is this looks like something's wrong with one of his ears.
Yeah, we're not sure what caused that. Often, because these cats are breeders, they'll get into fights, and if they break the cartilage in a fight, it'll cause the ear to fold over and it won't stand back up. Sometimes it's because the animals get ear mites so badly that when they scratch at their ear, they end up tearing the cartilage, and that causes it to fold over.
Wow.
We actually had one of our cats who just loved to rub up against the wire every time he'd see somebody, and he rubbed up against the wire and scraped it, and he has a little broken ear, so there's no way to tell.
I had that happen to a dog actually once. Like, I think he was playing with the other dogs, and they might have bit his ear a little bit, and then he got this like blister or something within it that you couldn't do anything about it. Because I took it to the vet about it. He's like, you just have to wait for it to go away. So it took months for it to finally go away. But after it went away, he had like a deformed ear. So
yeah, that's a hematoma.
yeah, that's what it was exactly. All right, so let's go. Okay, so some more pictures of the cats. They seem so happy to just be lying there.
We were really surprised because sometimes when you rescue a cat, they're so timid because they've been treated so badly. And these guys, out of 6, 5 of them are already following us around and chirping and talking to us. The one little bobcat named Lovey is still hiding, but she's apparently coming out at night because she ate her food last night. But she's still a little bit timid, so it'll take a while for us to gain her trust.
Right. All right, that seems to be all of our photos. And it looks like we've come to about the end of our show here. Well, it's a good show today. Got to talk to Sean. And what's Sean's last name again?
Carnell. Sean
Carnell. So if you want to contact Sean Carnell or Tigers for Tigers, simply go to tigersfortigerscoalition.org. Or you can give them a call at 607-280-4331. So if you're like, oh my gosh, wait, David, I just now got my pen. Can you say it again, please? Okay. Well, here's the number, 607-280-4331. And this video will be it'll be in the broadcast of Wild Animal Television, but later today or tomorrow you'll see it on the front page, because now I'll start putting the on-demand files on the front page like I do Gay
I missed
Television.
his piece since we couldn't both be on. I'd really love to see his part.
Well, I'll send you a direct link, though, to it, so that you can send that link to him so he can watch the video, too.
Okay.
But is there anything you want to wrap up and say? Oh, wait a minute. This voting thing. We're supposed to vote for it somewhere.
Yes, if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/BigCatRescue, just scroll through some of the posts and you'll see that we're in a contest with Sun State Federal Credit Union. And if we win actually $1,300, because it's $1,000 to the charity plus $300 to the person who nominated them, which is me, and I'll just donate my money back to Big Cat Rescue. And then a random person who votes will be picked to get $100. But, it's hardly worth it for us to really be promoting this little contest for $1,000 as much as we're promoting it. But the reason we are is it's so freaking embarrassing that the USZA, that little band of private animal owners, has managed to somehow get to give us a run for our money on there. and we will not be beaten by that bunch of people.
Right. They've either hacked it or something. And I can tell you this, folks, guaranteed, if that USDA person who runs that, freaking Joe Exotic, if he gets that money, I can 100% guarantee you it isn't going to no tigers or anything. It is going to his partying fund. As soon as he gets that check in hand, that man he'll post an ad on Craigslist, and then he'll go to a hotel and have a crack weekend or ecstasy weekend. Hey, and you know what? I'm not lying. If he wants to, call and beat me up if you're mad at me for saying it, but it's true. So I'm telling you, folks, don't vote for that man. You're doing it wrong. Go, please vote for Carole, who will. She'll give that money back to the Tigers. She ain't gonna party on it. I don't even think
Just
Carole.
cover yourself for legal reasons. That is in your opinion.
Yeah, that is in my opinion. Okay, it's in my opinion because this is what I saw. I'm not even doing whatever they say, talking about something. This is what I saw when I was down there. The person would get money and then they would go party on it. That's just what I saw. I'm just reporting it to you. I'm a reporter, so that's my job. So anyways, seriously, go to Big Cat Rescue's Facebook page and vote for them. And we cannot let them lose against them, even if it's for $1,300. But Lord, I could use $1,300. Right?
And we don't have time to talk about it today, but you'll also see posts on there where they are serving lions in tacos in Tampa. And we have managed to gather enough people that have thrown such a fit that Taco Fusion has taken down their Facebook page. And they have reportedly said that they're out of lion meat and they're not going to do it anymore. But we want to make sure they really get the message loud and clear that people hate that kind of behavior. And so you'll see some posts on there as well as what you can do to stop restaurants from serving lion meat.
I didn't even know they did that. I did not know that Taco Fusion is serving lion meat tacos. Why in the world, out of all the meats that are provided by us humans for consumption, is it that we sat around and be like, we've eaten everything, what's left? Let's try a lion. I mean, is that how that goes? I wouldn't even want to taste it to even know what it tastes like, but I can't even imagine how it could be any different than what's already available to eat.
And it's dangerous because, they always say that the meat's inspected. USDA does not inspect wild meats. And they say that these are farmed raised lions. Well, nobody has ever been able to tell me where this farm is. I really think it's all these people that are using cubs for cub petting and for photo ops.
Right.
When they get too big, anybody who would be mean enough to a lion cub to steal it from its mom and pass it around and pimp it out, that same person isn't going to have any compunction against selling those animals to butchers. And so you end up with animals who have who knows what kind of antibiotics or steroids in their system. There's nobody that's regulating that meat to make sure that it's safe. And carnivores are at the top of the food chain, so they eat all kinds of things that you would not want to have in your system. And yet these places like Taco Fusion see it, I think, as a big PR opportunity for them to get attention when they can't get it for having decent food.
Right. That's like, I didn't even, like I said, that I'm speechless. I didn't even know people ate lions.
You speechless?
Me. That's right. I'm shocked at that and horrified and saddened and now I have another thing to fight. My Lord. But all right, everybody, thank you for joining us here on Cat Chat. You can catch Cat Chat every Wednesday at 12 noon, and we get better each time we do it.
Yeah, like we'll actually be on at noon next time.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. So, thanks for joining us, Carole. And
Thank you.
My name is David Stanton.
Thank you, Sean, out there.
Yes, and thank you, Sean, for joining us. And like I said, my name is David Stanton, and you are Carole Baskin.
Oh, I'm Carole Baskin.
And we'll see you on the next Cat Chat.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, now go ahead and stop this recording.